Good morning, everyone. Hi and welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Parables Worship. Hello. We are going to begin our service the way we always do. If you are able, would you stand? We're going to march around the room. We're going to sing together. All right. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, and the saints go marching in. Oh, and the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. Oh, and the saints go marching in. Oh, and the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Woo! Oh my goodness. Wow, you guys, how many of you had so much sugar and chocolate for Valentine's Day and you're still kind of flying high, right? So let's do this together, everybody. Let's all take a deep breath in. Let it out. One more time, deep breath in. Let it out. My name is Autumn, and this is my friend Steve Weens over here. He's going to bring us a great word today. Our friend Amy's going to do some announcements in a minute, but first, I want to ask, how many of you are here for the very first time? Do we have anyone here for the very first time? Oh, wow. Yes. I was like, Braden's been here a long time. So raise your hands one more time. All right, you guys, everybody see them? So when we do passing of the peace, where are you going to go? Don't come hug Steve and I. Head that way. Give him a high five. We want to wish you a belated happy Valentine's Day. We love you, and we're so grateful that you're here, whether it's your first time or your 1,000th time. Like I posted on our Facebook page, that verse. Anyone remember the Bible verse I posted? It's okay if you don't. It's one of my favorite. It's from 1 John, and it says, we love because God first loved us, right? So we love you, and we are so grateful to be walking this journey with you. And I just got a text from my friend Justine Roberts. Yay! Speaking of love and speaking of family and speaking of community, and I'm going to read this text for those of you who don't know Justine. Justine is one of our regular volunteers. She is a PCA. She is a friend of Parables and of Wayzata Community Church, and she had a brain aneurysm a month ago. She survived, and not only survived, but is thriving and doing well. So hi, Justine. We know you're watching. So I'm going to read this. I don't sound at all like Justine, and I could get down here. She's a little shorter than me. But this comes from directly from Justine to you. Are you ready? Okay. I would just like to thank everyone for your support and prayers. Waking up and facing death himself wasn't easy for me to handle. I told him, no, I have places to be. You guys don't know that, yes, I am a giver, but I am also a loner. So when y'all came to support me, it made my heart full. Thank you. I'll be back marching with you guys in a few weeks, but for now, I just want to say thank you for being my family. So sweet. Oh my goodness. All right. So speaking of family and speaking of Justine, we have a meal train for Justine. We also have a meal train for our friend Jen Hawley, who just had a knee replacement. So if you are interested in signing up for either of those to show them your love and support, just see Amy or myself and we'll get that link to you. And our friend Michelle is off today for the first time in a while, and I hope she's not watching, but if she is, good morning. Michelle Rammert is our Director of Disability Ministry, and also as a part of our staff of programming here, we have our friend Amy Robinson, who has some programming announcements for you this morning. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Hi. I'm Amy Robinson, and I was brought in January to help Michelle out with some things. And she has been texting me this morning, so I'm sure, she wants to make sure you all know that she's saying good morning and she's thinking of y'all. So she's took some time off. She is relaxing. She is okay. She's relaxing and recharging. So anyway, our announcements, our next friendship group is Saturday, March 15th. We'll be having some games and some crafts and some activities. There might be a little St. Patrick's Day shenanigans happening. Registration is now open for our Parables 3-day camp, which will be June 25th to 28th. We're going to be doing some of our favorites from last year, and we've got some new fun up our sleeves, so it'll be a great time. So hop on the website and register for that. And then we have Vacation Bible School, which registration is open for as well, and that's the beginning of August 4th to August 8th. And both the Parables Camp and Vacation Bible School are open to all ages, all needs, and so we'd love to have as many of you there as possible to have a fun time. All right, let's get going.
Thank you, Amy. Yay! We hope you will register for the 3-day camp and for VBS. And I have 2 questions this morning. One, who is our little friend, our little furry friend? Biscuit. Can we meet Biscuit? Speaking of coming to Parables for the first time, come tell us about our friend today, you guys. Because people are asking me, I'm like, I don't know, is this the new associate minister?
This is Biscuit. She is a silky chicken, and she's the most loving of all of our chickens. She's Wendy's chicken on the farm. She's Wendy's honorary chicken. Does she not look like a golden retriever chicken?
She does.
Yeah. And she loves to be held. She loves to give love. And since it's February and we're just celebrating Valentine's Day, we thought we'd bring our most loving chicken. So anybody that would like to hold her on a lap, I'm going to have KK sit down here with her. And she does love to be held, and she loves to be pet. You can come hold her.
Oh my gosh. All God's creatures are loved here at Parables, right? And it just hit me. This is how tired I am today. Chicken in a biscuit. I get it now. The Southern girl gets it now. I totally get it. Speaking of love at Parables, we are going to open this morning with our Parables choir is going to sing a very special song called Your Love is Deep. A lot of you guys know this song as well, so if you want to sing along, we're going to have the words and the music are going to be playing up here on the screen. So Parables choir friends, come on down.
Rachel? love is long, your love is wide, your love is deep, your love is high, your love is long, your love is wide.
Well, that was amazing. I always love when the Perils Choir comes up and sings, gets me all ready to go. Right now is the time for the responsive litany. So, Jack and Allie, would you please come up?
See what great love that God has lavished on us that we may love each other fully.
See what great light that God has shined on us, that we may see each other clearly.
See what great life that God has given to us.
God is love, light, and life.
All right, now it's time to pass the peace of Christ to one another. So you can do that by a handshake or a hug, or you can just pass the peace sign. Let's pass the peace of Christ.
right, my friends. All right, Mark Mueller on piano. Here comes Steve. I'm gonna let Steve intro the offering. Steve is gonna talk to you about our offering, but as he does that, let's invite the Parables Choir back up front. They're gonna sing during offering.
Okay, folks, we're going to receive the offering. Thank you so much for your generosity. Your gifts go to Parables Ministries and all the great ministries of WCC. So let's listen as the Parables Choir leads us, and thanks for your gifts.
right here in my heart.
Thank you so much, Parables Choir. Now it's time for the scripture reading, and I would love to invite Jimmy and Nancy up to read the scriptures.
Thank you. Hey, Shay.
Okay, here you go.
Hate it.
You're good at this.
No, at home. Shay.
Okay, this is what you're reading. This. Okay, very good. The central truth
Substitute the one you have had
since
since
the
the dating of you. Faith is the weakness of the one another. Not into the trials and don't just trust the
love
others
as an idea
idea
or a theory.
and it is love need your choose way of love
And live
and then
in the pattern
not tired
of gracious.
of gracious love.
Okay, now I'm going to read this part, okay?
You
I'm okay. Okay.
right.
There is a sure way for us to know that we belong to the truth. Even though our inner thoughts may condemn us with storms of guilt and constant reminders of our failures, we can know in our hearts that in His presence, God Himself is greater than any accusation. God knows all things. My loved ones, if our hearts cannot condemn us, then we can stand with confidence before God. Whatever we may ask, we receive it from God because we follow God's commands and take the path that pleases God. Now we say this. Hear, right here, Jimmy, hear what
Once
the Spirit, hear what the Spirit is saying
Saying.
to the church.
churches
Okay, thanks be to God. Thanks be to God.
the churches.
Okay, now we can go sit
No
again.
need one.
Right. it's my
Okay,
turn.
okay, now we're going this way.
Jimmy, I have a shirt just like that, and I'm not kidding. It's just like that. It's identical to that. Maybe someday we can wear it at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Yeah?
great.
All right.
Okay, one step at a time.
So I have a little invitation for you as you hear the scripture being read at any time. And there's just a lot of words, right? And so sometimes they get jumbly in my mind anyway. And so what I try to do is I try to just look for one word or one set of words, a little statement that shines for me a little brighter than the other ones, right? So I want to invite you to do that. And I want to read it again just because sometimes it's good to hear it twice. And so see if there's any word or phrase that shimmers for you, that shines for you, that stands out, okay? The central truth, the one you have heard since the beginning of your faith, is that we must love one another. My little children, don't just talk about love as an idea or a theory. Make it your true way of life and live in the pattern of gracious love. There is a sure way for us to know that we belong to the truth. And even though our inner thoughts may condemn us with storms of guilt and constant reminders of our failures, we can know in our hearts that in his presence, God himself is greater than any accusation because God knows all things. So my loved ones, if our hearts cannot condemn us, then we can stand with confidence before God. Whatever we may ask, we receive it from God because we follow God's commands and take the path that pleases God. So I'm just curious, one at a time, is there any word or phrase that stood out to you, that shined or shimmered for you? Yeah, Emma. Love your neighbor. That's great. Anyone else? Kathy, love one another. Thanks, Kath. I love you too. Anyone else? Gracious. Great word. Yeah. Anyone else? Children. Interesting, right? Pleases God. Thanks, Mark. Well, we could talk for a couple of hours about the things that shimmered for us. I'm not going to do that. A couple hours. So here's the phrase that stuck out to me. The phrase is that make it your true way of life and live in the pattern of gracious love. That's the phrase. Live in the pattern of gracious love. So I've been thinking about that for a while this week. What does it mean to live in the pattern of gracious love? And not as an idea or a theory, but as a true way of life, as the way that we live together and as the way that we treat ourselves and each other. So let's get curious together. What would a pattern of gracious love look like? That's not an idea or a theory, but it's really the way we live, the way we treat ourselves, the way we treat each other. And so, so what's a pattern? What's a pattern? Anyone sew or knit in here? Yeah, Emma.
Like getting up every day.
Exactly, that's a pattern. The things you do every day. When we get here at 10:15 and we march, that's a pattern. We do it every week so that we can remember where we are. So a pattern is those things that we do, maybe every day, maybe every week, because we want to accomplish something. We want to live in a certain way. If you think about sewing, though, right, or knitting, what's a pattern? It's a map. Yeah, thanks, Wendy. When you don't really know what to do, like if someone, Judy, if you gave me a sewing assignment, like you said, Steve, please sew yourself a new sport coat, I would say, give me a pattern because I don't know what I'm doing. But then probably if I had a pattern, I could probably make my way through it. It wouldn't be pretty, but I could probably do a whole lot better than if I didn't have a pattern. And so live in the pattern of gracious love. So a pattern is something we do over and over again. A pattern is something that we're given when we don't know how to do something that we really want to do. And so the pattern of gracious love, what is gracious? What do you think gracious means? And this is an all play for everybody. What does gracious mean to you? Hopeful? Thankful. Thanks, Marnie. Yeah. What does gracious mean? Yeah, Rach. You're grateful? Yeah. Going to school, totally. Being respectful. Yeah, that's great, Emma. So gracious, the word for grace really just means gift, to give a gift to someone. So it might be the gift of respect, might be the gift of I like you, might be the gift of time. To grace someone is to give them a gift that comes from within you in order to make them feel special or like they belong. To live in the pattern of gracious love means to be a person who knows how to give gracious love, how to give respect, how to give dignity and honor. And so I've been thinking about how to do that. And I want to invite you to see ourselves not as a container of love or grace, right? Because if you have a container and you pour it all the way out, it runs out, right? But what if you saw yourself as it comes to giving grace or giving love as like a tube with both ends are open? Everybody tracking? So you have you're a tube. So in order to give grace to someone or give love to someone, on the one end, it flows out. You got to have an open end on the other end. You got to receive it. Does that make sense? So if we want to love, it's not by trying hard to love. There's some intention with that, but it's not scraping the bottom of the barrel or the soup pot when there's no soup left. If I want to love someone, if I want to live in the pattern of a gracious love, I need to receive love. I know that I do. Sometimes that is from each other. So when I come here and get hugs and I feel loved, that's one of the ways that I get filled up on this side so that I can then I can flow love out to each other. That's the way it works. You got to receive it in order to give it, because we all know what it looks like to feel empty, right? We all know what it looks like to feel like we're scraping that bottom of that soup pot. And we want to love, and we're told to love, and we even hear that as a command of Jesus. The central truth that you've heard since the beginning is that we must love one another. That's the bottom line for living as a follower of Jesus. And I believe that, but it's also really difficult to do when I feel empty. So I got to do those patterns like Emma was talking about, those daily things. I got to do those daily things, like I have this little prayer book in the morning. I don't do it every morning because, I'm a human being, but when I do it, it's a way for me to center myself as God's child. So I do these prayers in the morning. And I don't always feel super special or super loved, but when I do it enough times, it gets in. So predictable things, predictable patterns, repetitions. You might need to do some writing at the end of the day to just get all your feelings out. That might be a way for journaling. Exactly. You might need to do that. You might need to do a practice at the end of the day that's just asking yourself two questions. What gave me life today, and what drained me today? What gave me life today, what was life-giving, and what was draining? And in that way, you can start to feel what God wants to say to you in that. Maybe do a little less of the draining things, and maybe do a little more of the life-giving things. And what I suspect is that when you answer that question, what gave me life today, probably it'll be relationships. Probably it'll be that connection I had with Kathy. Probably it'll be something that happened, some little smile that I received from the Trader Joe's checkout person. Do you notice, like, why are those people are amazing? Trader Joe's, they must have a crazy training program, right? Because they are lovely, amazing people. And so that's a question. If you want to live in the pattern of gracious love, what is your pattern for life? I was talking with a group of friends last night. We were getting all anxious about the news, reading the news these days. And then someone said, I used to read the news in the morning, but I can't do that anymore. Like when I just woke up, and she said, I need to not have that be my first thing. She's learning to live in the pattern of gracious living, right? You got to figure out what it is that you greet the day with. Sometimes, so I drink coffee in the morning. That's my first thing. And I never miss it. There's never a morning when I don't drink coffee first thing. And sometimes, when I'm aware of it, I'll take a sip of coffee and I'll thank God for the taste of good coffee. And that's a way to build gratitude. So for you, what do you need to do? What patterns do you need to put in place so that you can receive love, so that when it's time to give love, you have something flowing through you, right? And so I want to give you two things that I'm trying to think about when it comes to gracious living. Number one, I need to love myself as I am. And I notice, when I think about that, I notice when I get something wrong or when I feel like drained, usually what I don't ask myself is, oh, what do you need? I usually say to myself, what's wrong with you? For real, like that is what goes through my mind. And that's not a loving way to live with myself. So I'm trying to change that. Instead of what's wrong with you, I'm trying to say, what would the loving thing for myself be? And that would be to say, what do you need? Another little trick I've learned, and I love this trick, is that when you get a little too hard on yourself, and did you hear that in the Bible passage? It says, even though our inner thoughts may condemn us with storms of guilt and constant reminders of our failures, God himself is greater than those things, and God knows those things. So here's what I try to do. I try to imagine that I'm watching my life like it's a TV show, and I'm watching me. I'm the main character, okay? And when that main character messes up a little bit or does something a little, maybe, I don't say, I hate this show. I say, oh man, I love that guy. He doesn't get it right all the time. He sometimes messes up. He's human. I love that guy. And I swear that really helps me, because I would never treat the character on the TV show that I love the way that I sometimes treat myself. So that's a little trick. That's how to love yourself as you are. So that's the first pattern I want to try to help you think about. What is your pattern when you're living in guilt and condemnation? How do you switch that to love yourself as you are? And then the second thing, I was sitting with a friend on Monday afternoon, and he was telling me this story that he was with this really influential person. He was with Richard Rohr. If you've ever heard of Richard Rohr, he's one of my heroes. And he was with him, and I was like, I am jealous. But that was not the point of the story that he was telling me, that I was jealous. He asked Father Richard Rohr, what do you think I could do to learn to love better? And Richard Rohr's answer was, you must learn to love the world as it is. Now, that doesn't mean you accept everything that's happening. It doesn't mean you don't work for change. It doesn't mean you don't name certain things as you guys okay? Martin, you okay? We're good. Okay. Everybody just take a deep breath in. We're good. Sometimes, we're good. Okay, so love the world as it is doesn't mean we don't work for change. It doesn't mean we don't call things out that are wrong, that need to be better. Loving the world as it is, you got to think about a person, not just the world. But so I have a person in my life. It's really tough for me to love them as they are, but that's my invitation. So love myself as I am and love the world as it is. What would that look like for you? What patterns would you have to put in place so you can live in a pattern of gracious love? How would you learn to love yourself as you are? And how would you learn to love the world as it is, not accepting everything that's happening, but loving the world, not when it changes, not loving a person when it changes, but as they are. So breath prayers, morning pages, evening questions. Does that sound good? Yeah. Enough homework to work on? All right. I believe it is time for us to come to the communion table. So let's do that. Let's come down here. All right, so one night Jesus was with his disciples, and they were doing a feast that they had done every year called the Passover. But on this feast, Jesus changed the rules. And instead of just lifting up the bread, let's lift up that bread. And he thanked it like he always did, but then he did something different. He said, "This is my body," everyone say it with me, "which is broken for you. Take and eat in remembrance of me." And the disciples had never heard that before, and so they were taking that in. They were learning what that meant. And in the same way, he lifted the cup, and he said, let's say it together, "This is the cup of grace poured out for you. Take and drink in remembrance of me. So whenever we eat communion, we receive Jesus' love, remember that tube, so that we can give love out to each other. That's what the table is for, receiving and giving. So let's commune. Let's share the communion meal together. Thanks, Kathy and Mark. Kathy, I don't think I've told you this, but when I was in 4th grade, I started taking flute lessons. Now, the reason why I started taking flute lessons was I liked a girl. And she was taking flute lessons. So that lasted about 6 months. Okay. So we're going to do the pastoral prayer, but one of the things that I like to do most when I do the pastoral prayer here in Parables is I like to ask you what you want to pray for. And so here's how we're going to do it. Carrie Shea is going to come up and help me, and then Jessica's going to come up as she always does, and she's going to pray the Lord's Prayer with us. But so here's how it's going to work. One at a time. You say out loud what you're praying for. Just say it in a word or a short sentence. And then Carrie's going to lead us. We'll all say this together after each request. Carrie's going to say,
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
So we'll do that after every request. We've done it before, okay? So I'll start first. I really would like God to heal my mother-in-law.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, Riley. Okay, Riley's teacher.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Okay.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Emma.
Pray for my new job next Monday for orientation.
All right.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Riley's right. Okay.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Anyone else? Yes.
I would like to pray
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Marty, I'm sure. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
For Marnie.
Lord, hear our prayers in your mercy. Oh, I said it wrong.
Jessica. For Justine.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Riley's mom.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Carrie's health.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Jones family. Yeah, Danielle and Brian and the girls.
Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers.
Any last one or two? For Marnie. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayers. Okay. Jessica, would you like to come up and pray the Lord's Prayer, lead us in the Lord's Prayer?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
All right, my friends, we have sung, we have prayed, we have petted our chicken. We've heard a great word from Steve, who has reminded us what love means and how to be gracious. So let's all stand if you're able. Grab a wing or a shoulder or an elbow, and let's sing our blessing together as we go. Lord, bless us and keep us. Make your face to shine upon us. Raise your countenance on us and give us peace. Lord, bless us and keep us. Make your face to shine upon us. Raise your countenance on us and give us peace. Lord, bless us and keep us. Make your face to shine upon us. Raise your countenance on us and give us peace.
Now receive the benediction. Those of you who are watching online as well, may you learn to live in the pattern of gracious living by loving yourself as you are and by loving the world as it is. Go in peace, my friends.
Amen.